KTGR, Andy Humphrey, Brendan Schaefer here. We're talking some Cardinals pitching pains. It felt painful the way it kind of played out the last couple of days or so. How painful was it? And can the Cardinals recover from it right away tonight against that same Brewers team that, scored 14 runs on them combined across two games yesterday?
And the Cardinals scored, 5? So that didn't stack up.
Did not.
Yeah.
And that's also a problem. And so we'll talk about the main problems now facing this Cardinals team as they try to get themselves up off the mat. We're going to talk. We have more thoughts about the United States losing to Belgium. Maybe even some Mizzou parallels to all of this. I mean, aren't we perfect fans to assess this situation, Brendan? Aren't we?
I think we at least have to explore that after. We came into the World Cup. We asked Bill C, and he said, "I don't know, Mizzou. There's maybe some symmetry there. Let's explore whether that's the case."
Okay, so we'll have that. We'll have some games to play as well. Who wasn't at the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce wedding?
I wasn't.
You weren't?
No, I was not there.
Well,
no.
I think we knew that. But we're going to play a game. You're going to play a game, and producer Natalie's going to play a game.
Oh, I have to guess?
You have to guess who was not.
And you know the answer going in.
I know the answer, yes.
Got it.
We're playing the game. Coming up, sweeping the nation. Who was not at the Kelce Swift wedding this weekend at Madison Square Garden? Call or text us at 875-KTGR. We'll play that at 5:25. You can also watch the show on YouTube and on Facebook. Leave a comment there. Let's go.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
Look, it wasn't ideal the way that the Cardinals needed to navigate their way through the doubleheader yesterday against the Brewers. They had essentially two DFA candidates come up for both games to pitch bulk innings, or at least be ready to pitch them. For that was the case for Bruce Zimmerman in the first game. He did fine. But ultimately, the Cardinals could not win that game. The offense wasn't able to help out enough. And kind of the same thing in the second game before Jared Schuster went out there and got blasted for 7 runs in the 7th inning. And it's made a lot of people bemoan of, who is to blame for this pitching plan? Because it clearly did not work. The Cardinals are now losers of 4 straight and now have to try and pick up the pieces against this Brewers team that is flying high at the top of the NL Central. Play tonight at 6:45. That's the Big Show's Big Deal on this 8th day of July, 2026. Give us a call or a text at 875-KTGR. No matter how you slice it, Brendan, whether it was the best case scenario of what you could plan for or what was maybe expected to be the outcome of just, we know we're in a tough situation. We're probably going to lose these games. Either way, the plan did not work. Whether it could have been better or worse, I suppose, is up for debates. I know you've had that debate quite a bit over the last 24-ish hours. What do you maybe make of what the plan was and why it didn't work and whether it could have been better?
Yeah, I think you got to go back to even a little bit further than just yesterday to discover kind of where the Cardinals were and what they were trying to accomplish. And really, I think it goes back to the weekend in Chicago where, they're mapping out and lining up. All right, and they're wondering, too, at what point do they know that Dustin May is going to be fine after the ankle that he was dealing with? And I believe that was July the 2nd. And it's okay, is he going to be still on turn to start one of those games of that doubleheader? And then it was accelerated a little further when he said, yeah, the ankle's fine. The back tightness I had been dealing with, that's fine. And I only threw 30-something pitches on July the 2nd. So I can actually go on short rest. So he started Monday on what was a bit of a tamped down pitch count. They were targeting 65 to 75. He threw 81. But that was on short rest, technically. 3 days of rest, but it allowed for the Cardinals to then say, all right, we can build in what we want to do elsewhere a little bit better as a result of that. Michael McGreevy could have started one of the games yesterday on regular rest, And he was in the Cardinal clubhouse before yesterday's first game. Jim Hayes was looking to talk with him and making it clear, like, I didn't ask to get an extra day here. They just told me to kind of be flexible and ready for, might start one of the games Tuesday. It may be pushed to Wednesday, but it didn't seem like, as he told it, something that he was like, oh, I need this day. I need this additional day. But he got one. He's going to start today. I believe it's his birthday as well. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Andre Palante gets an extra day as well. And we're in that part of the season where, like, you're just trying to make it to the All-Star break. And so guys, there's that fine line of guys can benefit from additional rest to keep them strong, to keep them fresh, to keep them healthy for the long run. But it's also like this thing in sports where nobody wants to be seen as the guy that, like, oh, I'm a little tired. Remember how Salvador Perez took it when it was suggested that he was,
that he needed a mental breather.
Needed a mental breather. Yadier Molina was once called tired, and it became a tirade on social media. So, like, this is an aspect that I think, as a coaching staff, a manager, a club, has to navigate a little bit carefully. But everything I could tell from McGreevy was like he wasn't asking for it. They were looking to build it in for him, and like they've got some really smart people behind the scenes that are trying to keep guys strong and make the most of what they can provide. And I point to their track record as a reason to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt on this topic. Going back to the beginning of last year, they still haven't had a starter go on the injured list for an arm injury. Now, Max Radjic came up with an elbow over the weekend, or earlier this week, and he might be cooked.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that had pitched in the minors and came up, and he's a reliever. But a starting rotation piece like that hasn't happened, and now it's the second year where it's just unheard of to have the track record the Cardinals are producing when it comes to managing their rotation and keeping guys healthy, and add in there that they're doing it with a group that is made up of, at least this year, 60% converted relievers like Palante, Liberatore, and Leahy, guys that were at one time or another big league relievers, and now they've kind of transitioned them back. So I add that context at the beginning because on the starters side, not having McGreevy for one of the games yesterday is why you get extra creative with, okay, Swanson, got to make him available to open for Zimmerman, who is going to be this sacrificial lamb, come up and give bulk innings. Marmol said yesterday morning that his pitch count was 175. That was a bit of a joke, but the point was, like, we're trying to cover 18 innings here, and this guy Zimmerman even told us before the game, like, I've done this like do-si-do of there's a doubleheader, you're coming in. Like, the guy knew he wasn't going to be on the roster by dinner time, and he wasn't.
No.
They DFA him between games. They don't bring up Luis Gastelum, who's an actual intriguing relief prospect who the Cardinals called up today.
Yeah.
But they go to Jared Schuster to kind of squeeze every last bit out of this lemon that they could and say, like, we've got him to cover if needed in a second game. The problem really happens where the Cardinals are in all of these games Monday and Tuesday, but they're not in a situation to really, like, go for it, but they kind of have to, the way that it breaks down. I think some people, Andy, are unhappy with Monday having a 3-0 lead and not using Jojo Romero or George Soriano, neither of whom pitched on Sunday. But the more I think about it, and I don't know for a fact as to, like, who specifically were the Cardinals looking to protect in these situations, but those two relievers who are kind of the leverage guys ahead of O'Reilly O'Brien, those two guys had pitched like clockwork every other day going back to June 26th.
Yeah.
And so had you pitched either of them on Monday, that would have continued. That trend would have continued, but you certainly, I don't think, because of that recent usage, you couldn't have used either of them in either game of the doubleheader Tuesday. So, like, yes, 3-0 in the entering the seventh or whatever it was Monday is a shot to win a baseball game. And they tried, because I don't think you can sell out. And so let's say you do. Let's say that Soriano and Romero aren't guys that told Marmol privately, I need today. Maybe they did, but Marmol is not going to tell us, like, yeah, JoJo said he didn't want to pitch.
Right.
Like, a manager's not going to do that. And I hope as fans of sport, we can understand why we won't hear that, but also understand that that might be happening in the background as context. to why those guys don't pitch Monday. They might not have been available, and it might have been by their choice. It might have been by the team's choice because they're trying to manage guys to keep them healthy. Let's say they are available, though. Using them, you're not going to have them Tuesday, and you're playing 2 baseball games. The best case scenario at that point is to say, like, let's win Monday because we're going to just forfeit both games on Tuesday. I get what ended up happening is they lose all 3. But you're trailing the Brewers in the division. Like, I don't think you can press that button on a Monday, even if those guys are available, which we don't know that they were. I don't think you can press that button on Monday and say, we're going to get this one because we're just going to punt 2 games that we're playing tomorrow, and we're going to finish them with position players if our offense doesn't come through, which, by the way, they won't come through against Mizrowski. They needed to do more against Robert Gasser in game 2.
That was the
that's the biggest problem, I think, of the last 3 days. And when I asked Ollie last night, just kind of trying to get him to talk about, hey, you're kind of in all 3 of these games, but they all turn against you, and you burned about every bullet that you had pitching-wise. He kind of pointed to, he said, we didn't have anything for him. Robert Gasser, 7 2/3. He was the guy that was their 27th man, like Hunter Dobbins was for the Cardinals. I think in that type of environment, you can't have the other team's random call-up for a day go 8 innings against you, and you score 2 runs. Like, that, to me, is why it feels like they punted on an entire day anyway, but they didn't. They set up a pitching plan that was not favorable against Mizrowski, because usually Mizrowski just shuts everybody out and it doesn't matter anyway. So, like, it's not unreasonable to go, let's let Zimmerman be that first game, and then maybe we get the advantage game 2 because we like Dobbins and we think we can put together a good plan offensively against Gasser. But they didn't do that, and they were in the Mizrowski game, which forces them to go, well, let's deploy JoJo. We're tied. Let's warm up Soriano. We're in this thing. And, like, then you waste them both, essentially. I don't know why Soriano didn't come in instead of Stanek in that 7th inning, but then Stanek gets hurt on the second batter, which they weren't planning for anyway. So, like, the plan wasn't perfect. There were elements to it that they could have handled better. There was also a lot of stuff that just went against them that just was kind of baseball stuff to make it look even worse than it necessarily was from a planning standpoint. But they didn't come in from a position of strength either. So, like, a lot of context that makes it, I don't know if it makes it better. They lost 3 games, and they're getting their butts kicked by the Brewers over and over, like, all year long. But, like, that's how I view that. Is I don't know for sure that even if you wanted to sell out, and I was asking this question in the press box last night, as it was clear that Schuster, somebody needed to go in and rescue that young man, and they eventually did. I was asking fellow writers, I'm like, let's talk through this. Last night, you're up 3-0. You could go JoJo George and probably win that game if they're available, which, again, they may not have been. But let's say they were. But then, like, if you do that, are you basically admitting, like, we're only winning one of these 3 at most? We're winning Monday, and then Tuesday you almost have no shot unless the offense just erupts in one of those 2 games, which they won't do in game 1.
Sure.
You're hoping they'll do in game 2. I think because you're trailing the Brewers in the division, you have to play it out in a riskier way, which they did, to maybe have a shot to win multiple of the 3. But that also opens the door to lose all 3. And that's only relevant if George and JoJo were available Monday. And if they weren't, then it's not even a conversation. It wasn't an option afforded to Marmol to even do that. If those guys said, hey, I could really use another day, I've been pitching a lot.
But here at the same time, and it's a good breakdown of how it all looks from what, trying to separate what we know now versus what the Cardinals knew before they entered Monday and Tuesday. I'll say this, though. Like, if you use Soriano and Romero on Monday, and let's say you end up winning that game, but it does kind of tie your hands a little bit for the doubleheader. They still had at least some relievers that they can trust to lock down maybe one of those 2 games. Maybe you're just punting on the Mizrowski game at that point, and you're saying, Miz is probably going to shut down our offense, and he largely ended up doing that, and so you can't necessarily expect to be in that game. But then you realize that in game 2 that you have a favorable matchup, and your offense can still carry it. So, like, the fact that the offense didn't show up is the main reason why the sequence here was what it was. But I think you could have argued that, okay, if we assume that our offense is going to do well against Gasser, then maybe it can give us an offensive day that doesn't require us to even use those leverage arms in the second game, and we can still win it. Like, that you understand trying to have enough leverage arms available to lock down any situation in the event that you're in it in a doubleheader. I do kind of look at Monday though and say like, okay, you still have a chance to get that locked down anyway. And so
Monday, May gives you 4 2/3 because he's on a pitch count. Brule does a nice job going. Brule is the MVP of the week so far, by the way.
He did well.
3 to 8 and multiple innings. Like I don't know how he did it, but inning and 2/3 got him to the 6th inning, through the 6th inning on Monday. And at that point, they pick up another run, so they're up 3-0 going into the 7th. That's when Ryan Fernandez blew it. I think Brule was charged with one of those runs in the 7th inning, without recording an out. But I think, was that when he left with the ankle? Because he had an ankle thing too. So
I guess that would have been the case. So they were trying to stretch him into the 7th and he
had an ankle thing there. So Fernandez comes in I think there's a runner on base and didn't record an out. I mean, it didn't go well. But let's say, like you're talking, instead of that, you turn to, because somebody had to bridge you to at least the 7th. So I don't think anybody would argue differently. Brule got him out of that 5th inning on Monday and then got him through the 6th inning. Let's say you start the 7th and it's like traditional Soriano, JoJo, O'Brien. Like that's how you finish that game. You win that game. And then you have, now Stanek hasn't pitched, so he's fresh for Tuesday. Graceffo ended up throwing 2 innings on Monday night as well. So now he's more fresh for Tuesday.
But Stanek did pitch on Monday.
But I'm saying, if you had done what people wanted them to do in the world where JoJo and Soriano are available, you can go, and I don't know where the lineup was, but one of them pitches the 7th, one of them the 8th, lefty, righty, out of the order. It would have depended on the Milwaukee lineup. And let's say they do it. They use those 2 for 7th, 8th, and they go Riley in the 9th because he's plenty available. There's been no save situations. And so you win that game on Monday. Like you have a fresher Graceffo who ended up coming into one of the games yesterday anyway, just to rescue Schuster. And you're right. Like you're probably, the way it lined up, they probably were punting the Mizorowski game, but then like they're in that game. And so you're not going to throw, like, you're probably throwing Graceffo. You're just trying to find a way to get through that game and you lose it. It may not have resulted a lot differently. And at least then you'd have a win in your pocket from Monday.
Right. Yeah.
Like there's a lot to be said for that. And that's why I keep coming back to, a lot of these decisions have seemed weird. And there's also like this other through line of, because we don't know exactly when they started the wheels in motion of, hey, this Swanson, Zimmerman, Schuster thing is going to happen for this doubleheader, because like that part of it could be unchanged in theory if you just still go ahead and win Monday's game with your best relievers and say, we're going to play 2 games. Soriano and Romero aren't going to pitch in either of them, but at least we won Monday. Like they could have pulled that trigger Monday, unless like at 10 a.m. on Monday, or not 10 a.m., but like 1 p.m. on Monday, George and JoJo are like, yeah, I could use one more day. I'll be able to give you a game, give you an inning or 2 tomorrow. Like, if that happened, then what we're talking about is totally, completely out of bounds, because all he's not. And so, like, when he keeps saying last night, he was asked, does he feel better about where they're at pitching wise now because of the way they handled the last couple of days? And he said, I feel good about honoring what I told my guys I would do, which is give them a day where they needed it and organize it how they needed it organized. So, like, to me, that the subtext there is like, probably the case that one or both of those guys felt like they could benefit from having Monday from a physical standpoint. And that's the stuff that we'll never know. We'll never hear it. And there's good reasons why we don't. But when everybody wants this as like the blood sport of I need to, and like, to be totally clear, I was asking the same questions last night as Schuster is getting shelled out there. And like, was there a way to just win Monday and say like, you could punt on these 2 games from the bullpen standpoint, which is virtually what they were doing with game 1 anyway.
Yeah.
And then game 2 becomes score a bunch of runs, and then you can patch it together with like, Brule or Graceffo or whatever they've got left. They could have done that, but I just don't, part of me just has to believe that somebody else in that bullpen was like, yeah, I could use Monday off. And that's understandable.
And that's probably what
That's
happens. Like that, because
Right.
I would think in a perfect scenario, they would in the moment want to lock down Monday's game, even if it really hamstrings them for a doubleheader Tuesday. But then they're also planning to give their starters an extra day of rest for Wednesday. And like, that's not the whole series, right? Like there's still some games that you can play against this team. And then you would have an extra day for McGreevy and Palante to try and do as well as possible in those starts. So that's kind of the tricky part about it.
And if that Ryan Fernandez sinker gets you a double play ball on Monday,
right?
Maybe they do say, actually, one of George or JoJo could have pitched the 8th. And that is what we would have done. But now they'll it's not really that relevant.
Yeah.
And maybe Ollie would on or off the record. But it's like, because Fernandez blew up. And by the way, they ended up using Fernandez as roster spot to facilitate what they did yesterday. Let's keep that in mind as well. Like, to get Zimmerman up, you had to get a 40-man spot. That was Rajic. They transferred him to the 60-day.
Yeah.
He's getting a second opinion on the elbow. We know what that means. But they needed a 26-man spot too. And Fernandez's spot was the fungible spot that becomes Zimmerman, becomes Schuster, becomes Luis Gastelum today. So they might as well throw Fernandez good, bad, or indifferent Monday if he's going to get optioned. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I guess technically they could have done that with Graceffo. If it had been Graceffo, they could have optioned him. But like, they had the plan of how they wanted to approach it. And so I think even if if Fernandez doesn't get shelled on Monday, he's probably the one going ultimately to make room for Zimmerman so they can do this do-si-do all day long yesterday and this afternoon. So that's part of it. And the other part is, like, we're criticizing, it feels like Marmol for the management of the pitching, but I also think from Chaim Bloom's seat,
yes,
when did they know they were going to be doing all of this? Because Bryson Motts is another guy that we've seen it once in the big leagues. I think is a more competitive pitcher than Jared Schuster. Now, it's easy to say after a guy gives up 7 runs, but I think if you'd asked me yesterday morning, I still would have said, yeah, I think Bryson Motts.
Give me Bryson Motts in that situation. Absolutely.
Problem is, he was being held indefinitely for May the last week or so because they didn't know when, if he was going to be, and then he pitches on July the 2nd. And so it's like, okay, now Motts can pitch, but also May gets hit in the ankle. So can he pitch? Ultimately, it was July the 5th, I believe, Sunday. Was that the 5th?
Yeah.
That Motts threw like 40 pitches, but he hadn't pitched in a week. And so if he had pitched Saturday in that capacity, and then you can go ahead and, move forward with the plan to bring him up for Tuesday, and he could have been in the Zimmerman spot. He could have been in the Schuster spot. Motts maybe gives you a better chance in that second game yesterday than Schuster when Velasquez homers. Now it's 3-2. And it's like, oh, we're in this thing. Does Motts give you some more competitiveness than what Schuster did? Like, I don't know the answer to that, but ultimately the Cardinals didn't have the information, I guess, on, hey, May got hit in the ankle. Is he going to be able to take his next turn, or do we have to keep holding Bryson Motts? Like, they got caught in between on that, I think. And so that was a little bit of an aspect that impacted them. And the final point is one that we've already made, but I want to hammer it home. Score more than 2 runs against Robert Gasser.
Yeah.
And you still can win yesterday's game. And like Ryan Fernandez, don't have the worst outing that you've had since April of 2025 in New York. Like, it's not all the management. Sometimes it's the players that you have at your disposal. And this is a rebuilding year. And as much as the record's still a pretty good one, I always insist that, like, when a team is going through a rebuild, the last thing before that rebuild is over and you're on the other side of it is like fixing the middle relief. Because how are you going to prioritize spending money on a bullpen's 4th or 5th best reliever and beefing that up in a sincere way if you're not expecting to have that many late leads to hold? Like, that's going to be the last part of a roster you tidy up. This is year 1 of that rebuild. So, like, this was always going to be this, like, pitching depth conversation was always going to be an area that had some issues this year for the Cardinals, and it showed up in a major way yesterday. And one final thought is that Jeff Jones put out a good blog about the 40-man roster being very constricted as well, because they've got multiple pitchers on the 40, but not on the 60-day injured list because they're in the minors. Richard Fitz, Takoa Roby, Cooper Jerpy was that way until recently returning. And Tim Kentz is like kind of a busted prospect that's still on the 40. they're operating with much less than a 40-man roster. So, like, you don't have the maneuverability with arms that you otherwise would. Now, could that be resolved? Yeah, you could call up some of these pitchers and they could be on the major league IL for 60 days, but they're making major league money and they're getting service time for the big leagues. And so if you're trying not to lose a year of these guys, then that's the reason they do it. Plus the financial incentive. The problem with that is like Richard Fitz, a guy that's worth gaming service time for, not gaming it, but just like maximizing service time over utility on your roster this year. Because you could throw Richard Fitz on the Major League IL, and like they could have done that back then. But because you don't, the 40-man spot doesn't open up. And so you've got guys who are out for the year who are just clogging up spots. You don't want to get rid of them, but you could pay American dollars to them essentially and let them accrue service time. And then you'd be able to get them off the 40-man roster and bring up some other arms.
It's a lot of stuff that the Cardinals had to be up against.
It's a ton. It really is a lot.
In the end, how damaging was that to, like, you want this team to be competitive. Like, we want to see this team at least not sell everything at the deadline. Like, how damaging was it to that reputation that the Cardinals
You can have a
up?
savvy front office and good coaching staff and solid players that want to win. You can have all these things and still not quite be the Milwaukee Brewers in 2026.
Yeah.
Like, two things can be true at once, that you're ahead of schedule because you've got savvy people in charge here, but you also just started this journey, and the Brewers have been operating like a well-oiled machine for how many years that they've been doing the type of stuff that you are now starting within the last couple of years in St. Louis to catch up. You're playing from behind. This week so far, and the series in Milwaukee earlier this year, has been a perfect encapsulation of where the Cardinals are relative to the class of the NL Central right now. They're behind. Yep. And I think that's going to inform where they're at the deadline. I don't think this series took them from we're buying to now we're selling. I think it took them from hey, let's wait and see because this is going to maybe be hard to do, to yeah, this is why we said wait and see. We're
Yeah,
I think
this is why.
They will be listening on the players that are worth listening on from a short-term standpoint. And I would miss some of the guys that are around because I think, it's a good roster, good clubhouse, but I also think you can get away with it and not be totally a lost cause. Even if they did sell 4 or 5 different names, suddenly it still is an intriguing foundation of a team that you would still have. And you've got guys to plop into almost every spot on the roster of guys you could trade.
Call or text us, Cardinal fans. What did you think about the recent sequence? 875-5847 as the Cardinals try to snap a 4-game losing streak tonight with Michael McGreevy on the hill on his birthday, trying to beat the Brewers tonight at 6:45. You'll hear it on KTGR coming up in a bit. We'll talk more Cardinals coming up and Royals. Jack Caglianone, he is going to be in the home run derby. Not in the All-Star game, apparently, though. Is that cool? We cool with that? Next on The Big Show.
Follow The Big Show on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And keep it here on your total sports station, KTGR.
The Rich Eisen Show.
TJ, Brockman, there was a big trade, the Celtics, the 76ers. How are we feeling about this, guys?
I feel great.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like Chris is sad and TJ is happy.
Man, it's terrible. I can't. It's awful. It's the end of the era for the Jays, and I am very, very sad. And all I can say is, TJ, treat them right.
Catch The Rich Eisen Show weekdays from 11 to 2 on KTGR and the KTGR app.
The parking lot meetup. Okay, park under a light, text anyone. Should have probably case netted him. How loud can a human scream? Oh, this is probably how true crime podcasts start. Wonder if that bear spray is still in my trunk. Ugh. What kind of person drives a Dodge Dart? You could skip all that and just go to Family Pawn, get cash in hand, and sell your stuff safely and quickly without winding up in a Netflix documentary.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pawn.
FamilyPawn.com.
From elegant weddings to corporate lunches with flavor and flair, Courtyard by Marriott Columbia brings the party and the pros. It's the home of Main Event Catering. And with every event, you'll get an award-winning chef, full banquet staff, and drop-and-go options for any size crowd. And the event center holds up to 300 guests. with 8 flexible rooms. If you need help, there's a Marriott certified wedding coordinator on staff too. Book now by calling 573-443-8000.
This August 4th and 5th, join former Missouri Tiger football players Drell Jackson and myself, Michael Agnew, at our API football camp. We're not just building football skills, we're building leaders. Over 3 days, we'll dive into deep technique, strategy, and leadership development. You'll work side by side with me and all of our coaches to bring out our best on the field and in life. Whether you're chasing that starting position or learning how to lead, this camp is for you. Spots are limited, so sign up now at apiprojectfitness.com. Let's grow your game and your leadership.
You don't just sell, you connect. You listen, learn, and deliver. You build relationships that turn clients into partners. At Fuse 32, our people don't push products. They craft solutions. They anticipate problems before they even happen, and they fix them before anyone notices. If results and relationships, not excuses, drive you, then it's about time to join the team that never settles. Fuse 32. There's nothing we can't do. Apply now at fuse32.com. When you have a property to redevelop or a big renovation that's coming up, you're going to need more than muscle and a couple of choice words. You'll need Wreck and Roll. They bring the dumpsters, the demo crew, and even clean up all the mess. Whatever you need, they roll in, wreck it right, and leave your site good as new. Proudly serving Jefferson City, Columbia, the Lake, and Eldon. When you have a hot mess, don't stress. To get your project rolling, follow Wreck and Roll on Facebook or go to wreckandroll.net.
Window panes. You're just trying to mow the yard when you hear a crack as you send a rock right through your picture window. Dogs are barking, the neighbors are staring, and you're left cleaning up the glass. This is Silas Kuntz from Kuntz Glass. Whether it's a broken window, foggy glass, or a patio door that's seen better days, Kuntz Glass can help. With 15 service trucks, we're ready for life's little window panes. Visit us at kuntzglass.com.
Kuntz Glass, you can see through and we do it.
The summer's biggest cannabis market is back. Saturday, July 25th, the farmers market returns to the Shangri-La Dispensary Superstore location in Columbia from noon to 4. Food trucks, live DJ, cannabis vendors, and deals up to 40% off. First in line grabs the VIP doorbusters, so get there early. In-store pickup available or order online at ShangriLaDispensaries.com. July 25th at the Shangri-La Superstore on Creekwood Parkway, Columbia. Shangri-La Dispensaries is paradise found. Do not use cannabis if you are under 21 years of age. Keep cannabis out of reach of children.
The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got the Big Show on KTGR.
Getting some text here from James. He says, DFA Fernandez. How much more do we have to put up with this? What do you mean? 2.70 ERA in the big league level? Like, come on.
These are the comments that I've been responding to for the better part of 2.5 days. Look, he's been sent to the minor leagues. He does have a 2.7 ERA. He does have 20 strikeouts in 13 innings this year. The walk rate's up. But, like, you've got options on a player. You're not going to designate them for assignment with those type of numbers. So I get it. I understand. Like, the part I don't want to come off as is like, oh, you shouldn't be frustrated. No, dude, it stinks. Like, you've had a Cardinals team to watch and listen to this year that seemed like it was hanging in there, and then you're kind of being exposed every time you play the Brewers, who are the best team in your division, and it kind of opens your eyes to how far you have yet to go. That's not fun for a team or a fan base. But, like, the Ryan Fernandez is, I just think back to September, October, when it was told that, hey, it's going to be a little bit of a leaner year. That opens the door for everybody on the 40-man roster and in the upper levels of your minor league system to, like, at least get a look in 2026. So they're getting the looks, and the ones that have flamed out, like a Chris Roycroft, they give up on. But they're going to be patient with some guys, especially when you've got options. You can send a guy back to AAA and say, hey, work on this. That's where Fernandez is at.
There will be another chance for Ryan Fernandez. I understand why fans probably are done seeing that, but when he's on point, he's shown that he can put up the numbers. So, I mean, see the process out and see if it's something worth keeping around. Because, again, at some point, you're going to need middle relief help.
Right. And boy, is middle relief ever a thankless job when you can have a 2.70 ERA.
Right.
People are like, you should be
You're still a
tarred and
bum.
feathered.
Yeah.
Like, you should be
Bum.
excommunicated. Like,
Right.
get him out of here. Like, that's, man, imagine what they're saying about the guys with 7 ERAs. Like, Matt Swanson has got 7 ERA, and he's, you know.
Yeah, but he started
that's
the game. He didn't blow the lead, you know?
No, he didn't. There was no lead. There was nothing had happened yet. I mean,
Right.
and he did a nice job. And frankly, Zimmerman did about as well as you could have hoped for him to have done. He's a AAA guy who has had some cups of coffee in these type of circumstances in the big leagues and was able to gut through 5 innings, allowing only 3 runs to a very good Milwaukee Brewer lineup. So I don't know. I think there you could squint and see a way for that plan to have gone drastically different. Imagine a world, because we're all whining about the pitching. Imagine, though, a world where instead of having 3 swings that produced runs yesterday across 18 innings, 2-run homer by Jordan Walker, solo shot by Ivan Herrera, 2-run shot by Nelson Velasquez. Imagine, like, putting together rallies and scoring runs.
Yeah.
Because that completely changes what a manager is working with when it comes to the context of a game. When the best you can offer is down 3-0 and it's time to go to your bullpen, like, yeah, Jared Schuster's in that game. Now it's 3-2 because of the homer. What do we do? Gosh, we really could use one more inning out of Jared Schuster to see if we can't tie this game, to start pushing some of our guys who we really don't want to use too much because they've been worked, but like, give us a reason, offense. That's who needs a little bit more scrutiny from yesterday, is the Cardinal lineup. You have to put Marmol in position to justify stretching these pitchers that have already been heavily worked a little bit beyond or to the brink of their comfort zone. But it was never justified in that second game because of the score. You're down 3-2 at best case scenario, and you've already deployed Schuster at that point. So, like, you can't bring in a leverage guy, and then if it's going bad, okay, Schuster, come back in to mop it up. Like, they told him where they were against Robert Gasser for 6 innings.
Yeah.
That's the problem of it.
In other words, be an offense like the Royals.
Well,
31 runs in 2 games. Hard to complain about that.
If they could pass some of those runs to the other side of the state, we could be having a very different conversation about the Cardinals today over the last 3 games in 2 days. But yeah, that's not been typical of the Royals all year, though, has it?
I mean, not all year.
I think I can recall previous conversations about that team.
About not scoring. Well, look, this year, they're not that type of offense, but they're a better offense this year. Like, I think very clearly they are, as opposed to what years past had shown, because they have Tyler Tolbert, the hit king. 12 consecutive at-bats with a hit, ties the Major League record. Tyler Tolbert, the savior of the Royal offense. Who's now going to
a real person?
Yes.
Like,
yes. Come on. Yeah, sure. He was held to just, pinch running and defensive specialist type of duties at the start of the year. That's all he was really thought of. But no, like, he's contributing and is a strong 9-hitter at the moment. And look, it's a cool thing. It's now a nice trivia question. And Tyler Tolbert had like back-to-back 5-hit games. Only other guy to do that since 1970 is Roberto Clemente. And so, like, that's cool stuff. Like, that's a cool thing for Tyler Tolbert. What's also pretty cool is Jack Caglianone gets to be in the home run derby next Monday.
That's crazy. I mean, good for him.
Yeah. 14 home runs.
He's not been named to the All-Star team, right?
No, he's not. No. I would hope at some point that he is in the pecking order, because I'm starting to think the American League has lost its pecking order. Are we going to see replacements at any point? I know Wilson Contreras got named as one because Vladimir Guerrero Jr. can't play first base. He was voted as the starter. So they're going to throw Nick Kurtz in as the starter, and then Wilson Contreras backfills on the bench. But here's what I don't understand. National League announced 4 reserve outfielders. The American League announced 3. There's an open spot on the American League. Like, that's what I'm seeing. I'm even adding up with the replacements we have seen so far, which we haven't really seen any position player replacements yet. On the National League side, we've seen some pitchers. Riley O'Brien was thrown in there yesterday as one of the relief pitchers that'll be a replacement in this game. But all we have seen on the American League side is Wilson Contreras named as a replacement, and then Justin Verlander named as a Legends pick.
Which, do they already have a Legends pick and he's just another one? Or how does
I
that?
don't think they had one yet.
Okay,
so like
got
they
it.
threw him in there.
There's some latitude. I mean, okay, he's retiring. Let's get him in there. Like, there's some latitude for stuff like that for sure. It's the All-Star game.
So I guess they were holding it for that, and maybe now, because there wasn't really a replacement named for it, maybe now you're at the spot. But now it's one more pitcher that the American League has than the National League has. As far as roster size, I guess now we're good. But we will have to see who is replacing Aaron Judge. And I would assume Mike Trout's not playing in this thing.
Yeah, I think Caglianone can end up in there almost by virtue of the fact that he said yes to the Derby. So like,
you're going to be in town.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Like, talk about saving on travel arrangements. I mean,
right.
That's just an obvious call. There is this element, like Riley O'Brien from the Cardinals named to the All-Star team yesterday, as we talked a little bit about. And it's like, I think early in the season, he said, I was kind of thinking about that. Like, I'm off to a really good start. Kind of forgot about it recently, which, yeah, his numbers have not been as strong lately, but he's kind of settled back in. 22 saves, near the top of the NL leaderboard in saves. So, like, he gets a look, but his ERA is 3.7.
Yeah.
Like, there is this element that I don't think we know the answer to, and certainly the league wouldn't want to publicize, but like, are there guys that are being asked like, hey, you would be named as a replacement. Do you want to go? And they're like, I wasn't named originally. So I kind of started making plans with family and like, you can go on to the next guy. Like, are they having to go down the list on this a little bit? That would not look good for their game. So they wouldn't want to, publicize that even if it were the case. But yeah, you do kind of wonder that a little bit. And the same thing with the Derby. Like, how many are they kind of putting out feelers toward and then are saying, yeah, maybe I would just rather kind of not have to, because like this is the All-Star break. Even for those playing in the All-Star game, you'd like to maybe just be able to take in that evening rather than have to perform in a really high stress environment. Like, as much as we would say, oh, it's for fun, like, you don't want to.
I mean, there is money on the line if you win, but
money on the line. But I think more than anything, nobody wants to be that guy that like gets a 0 or like doesn't show well, and then that's embarrassing in a national setting. So there's stress. It's kind of that conversation, Andy, with the dunk contest in the NBA, where it's like guys in recent years have said, I'm good, and you've got Mac McClung winning it 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Like for the Derby, you don't always see those big names want to take that on. Caglianone, I think, is the perfect, because you want to highlight young talent, and Caglianone's great young talent. I still like to see Jordan Walker in it. I'm coming around to the idea, and he's open to it. He said he would be if asked. So I'm hoping that that's the next shoe to drop. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I mean, if they are taking some time going through a list, I would imagine that Walker's name is going to come up at some point, and they'll make the call.
And he is on the team, obviously. He's an all-star.
Yeah, he's going to be in town, right? So, like, there's definitely a chance for that to happen. Yeah, if he gets added, then you got Caglianone, and like Wilson Contreras is going to be in it. Like this Derby all of a sudden has some local intrigue a little bit on Monday. It should be fun if that is going to be the case. I think it'll be fun anyway. If Caglianone wins, he'll be the youngest to ever win it. And I think Junior Caminero also would be, if he won it, he would potentially become the youngest too, based on like they're both 23-year-olds, but it's like the days almost of like when you turn 23.
And by the way, Junior Caminero probably wins it, right? That guy's power is,
you never know,
insane.
You never know. It is. He has been awesome. Like that. He should. He was the first one to announce, yeah, I'm doing it. So usually when it's the first, that he's going to take it seriously. I don't know how seriously, like Pete Alonso level or like anything else.
Nobody,
like on the scale.
No. Nobody will ever take it that seriously. That guy was locked in on a different level. Cal Raleigh won it last year. I wonder why he's not being invited. Well,
he's not having a great year.
No, he's terrible.
He's not an all-star. Like
I don't wonder. That was sarcasm. If you look at his numbers, it's kind of jarring. Looks like he's coming around a little bit lately, but still not really. Yeah.
Hey, He had that 1 year,
169.
though. So it's.
How does that? Can I ask a question just
Yes.
apropos of nothing? How does that happen that a guy hits 60 homers in 1 year and in the next year is hitting 169 with a sub 600? It honestly, what it looks like statistically is that he attended a basketball game and little aliens came down from a different planet, took his talent and put it in Jordan Walker. I mean, that is legitimately, if you look at their numbers from between 25 and 26, it's a switcheroo, and that is bizarre.
Well, so then Cal Raleigh will be at the All-Star game then. If his powers are in somebody else that actually made it, then
In a
there we
manner
go.
of speaking, I suppose that's true.
In spirit. Call or text us 875-KTGR, your thoughts on Jack Caglianone making the home run derby, but not quite the All-Star game, or at least yet. We shall see in the coming days if he, in fact, gets that call. We have live local sports center coming up, then under the bus to the man who declined the invites to the Kelce Swift wedding. That's next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good evening. I'm Natalie Touche, and this live local sports center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's brown and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. St. Louis Cardinals were swept in their Tuesday doubleheader following their 10-2 loss last night. The Cardinals gave up a combined 10 earned runs from Dobbins and Schuster, while the offense was held to 4 hits. They continue the 5-game series tonight at 6:45 on KTGR Radio. Another win for the Kansas City Royals as they won the opener against the New York Mets yesterday. Other than the 7-run 7th inning, the crazy comeback was led by KC's Tyler Tolbert, who tied the MLB record with hits in 12 straight plate appearances. Royals aim to grab the series tonight at 6:10 p.m. 2 Mizzou football alumni Drew Lock and Andy Hill were also announced as inductees for Mizzou's Athletic Hall of Fame this fall. Former quarterback Drew Lock finished his Mizzou career with more than 12,000 passing yards and a record 44 touchdowns. Andy Hill spent 24 seasons on Missouri's coaching staff, serving as special teams coordinator, wide receivers coach, and offensive coordinator after playing for the Tigers from 1980 to 84. Up next, your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Billiards on Broadway, and they are home to fresh hand-patted burgers, fresh cut fries, and a long list of Missouri beers on tap. And don't forget the pool tables and huge TV. Get to Billiards on Broadway in downtown Columbia.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking a mild evening with clear skies as we drop down to about 70 degrees. Tomorrow's an ABC 17 Storm Track weather alert day as we could see a few showers in the morning, but strong storms will be possible by late afternoon, bringing the threat of strong to damaging wind gusts up to around 60 miles per hour. High temperatures tomorrow on 90 degrees, the heat index getting into the upper 90s. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
You had a favorable group draw. You have the home crowd. You had the red card on Balogun getting overturned. Everything was working in the United States' favor. This was supposed to be the year that they went on a deeper run. It's a failure. This is a disappointment. The United States did not meet their goal or their expectations for this tournament.
Catch Unsportsmanlike with Evan, Canty, and Michelle. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9 on KTGR.
The best barbecues start with the best grills. And at the American Outdoor Brands Factory Outlet in Columbia, you'll find Gorilla pellet, gas, and charcoal grills, along with outdoor kitchen options that'll make your patio everyone's favorite hangout on game day. Right now, all grills are 20% off in store, plus their scratch and dent section offers hundreds of dollars off select grills. Remember, every barbecue starts with a better grill. The American Outdoor Brands Factory Outlet is a quarter mile north of I-70 at Route C.
Enjoying world-famous fries at McDonald's helps Ronald McDonald House Charities of Mid-Missouri. For every pound sold, local McDonald's restaurants across the area donate 1 penny to the local house.
I'm Austin Ilsley with AI Painting Plus. What we really value about working with Zimmer is the thoroughness and the research and the data they present us with. And that kind of information is just invaluable for small business, really just trying to be wise with their marketing spend. Trust their process because their process takes a little time. And when you give them the time to do what they do best, it truly works.
I like Zimmer because they put me in my dad's commercials.
You know business, we grow business. ZimmerCommunications.com.
Hi, I'm Sarah Sticklin McDonald. And I'm Charlie Sticklin with the Sticklin and Sticklin Law Firm.
And I'm Mizzou Softball's Natalie Touche. At Sticklin and Sticklin, all we do is personal injury.
We've earned millions for our clients since 1991.
On the diamond, I trust my team. Off the diamond, I trust Sticklin and Sticklin. Don't let the insurance companies strike you out. Let Sticklin and Sticklin go to bat for you. Sticklin and Sticklin, it's a home run.
We all plan to be on time, but fender benders, damaged windshields, and slick roads quickly disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design personal protection plans that work for you and help keep you on track. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call me, Valerie Nenechuk, 573-615-4090. 615-4090.
Epic Bug Battle Raps.
Hey, yo. Let's get it.
Ant versus Termite.
Turn my headphones up.
Fight.
Look, I'm an ant. You're a wood munching clown. So here's a number 2 pencil. Go ahead and write it down. See, ants, we love snacks, but you termites are whack. I'm having picnics in kitchens, just snacking on baseball bats. You never should have battled me. Couldn't help but eat the trees. What is all you'll ever need? Oh, you're trying to win this thing? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oh, good. Jokes about wood. Never heard that. Easy on the snacks. Just take a look at your thorax. It's dragging on the floor and scraping across the grass. Oh, no, look out. It's a 3rd grade class with a magnifying glass. What's that? I think I hear your queen calling. Left, right, left, you little drone. You better fall in. Shoulda marched to a different drum, because I just took your army out one by one.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
For our troops and their families, the military is more than a career. It's a journey, and every step along the way, the USO is there.
It's an experience that soldier will never forget. That's what the USO does.
Be a part of their journey. Donate today at USO.org.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
It's time to go under the bus on The Big Show.
So we're going to play a game later at 5:25. Who was not at the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift wedding last weekend? I'll give one away. Charles Barkley was not there. He got an invite, apparently.
Didn't go?
He didn't go. So he doesn't go to weddings or funerals. And
wow.
Just say, I just want to hang out and play golf. And I don't want to dress up and all that other stuff.
I don't go to weddings or funerals. So if you die, don't ask. I won't be there. That's such a Charles Barkley thing. That's funny.
So he will.
Under the bus.
That one's a giveaway. I don't think he'll be included in the game later, but
okay.
he was not there. And under the bus too, this Texas Tech radio host Sean Dillon, who was at Big 12 Media Days, and yesterday during Brett Yormark's piece. Sean Dillon was asking questions. Say, well, you banned tortillas for Texas Tech, but you didn't ban the noisemakers that Oklahoma State has. Brendan Sorsby didn't play a snap, but you sued Texas Tech, but you haven't done anything to Cincinnati. And essentially asking, like, why should Tech fans believe that there's a good relationship here? Essentially was what he was asking. And Brett Yormark makes him stand up and ask the question again. And it was a long, winding question. And literally behind the guy, there are 2 writers that just put their head in their hands like this.
I have seen this clip. I don't know who the writers of the other people in the video are, but we've all been in this situation.
Oh, yes. Yes, we have.
Like, oh, this is uncomfortable in that media setting. God bless him. It just that was cringy. And Yormark was not really having it with his answer. Was like, yep, I appreciate the question though. Just kind of blew it off.
Yeah,
I really appreciate you asking, but that was just kind of shot it down. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, it was
under the bus.
Not honestly the best response from Yormark. He could have been honest about it. There was an easy way to answer that question other than blowing it off, but still.
And there's also a fair thought process, but he did the question did not land. It did not land.
It's time for the sweetest thing in sports on The Big Show.
2 more inductees revealed for this year's Mizzou Athletics Hall of Fame class, and it's both from Mizzou football. Drew Lock and Andy Hill. They released a video with both of them reading each other's announcement saying you're being inducted into the Hall of Fame, which was really cool to see that video. Of course, both Kansas City guys, and both very much deserving of being in this Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's cool. We're seeing these announcements come through. Well, we talked about it when the Chiefs made a point with Andy Reid for Nick Bolton to kind of do that in front of the team. That was really cool, and this is cool as well that these announcements are kind of coming out the way that they are, and some deserving candidates for sure.
Yeah, certainly Drew Lock with how he played. My gosh, how is Andy Hill not in it yet? My goodness.
I do have that thought with a number of these guys sometimes where I'm like,
right.
Cool honor, amazing. It's like, I guess he wasn't in it already as just a long time coach with Mizzou, but
yeah,
it's cool. There's a lot of deserving folks, and I guess you can't get to everybody every year. And so this is the year for it to be their turn.
Really cool to see both of them, and they'll be going in with Nick Bolton and several other honorees that have been announced throughout the last week. So congrats to them. We're going to talk more about Team USA soccer. Are there Mizzou parallels here? That's next. Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. It's one of my favorite times of year, summer road trip season. Nothing like hitting the open road, as long as you don't have any type of delays or detours when it comes to tires. That's the last thing you'd want if you've got kids screaming in the back and you got to pull off the side of the road because you need to fix a tire. Well, prevent that by checking out your tires beforehand. Go to Lee's Tire Company. They can make sure they're in tip-top shape and make recommendations if you need new tires. And they've got the best selection in mid-Missouri. You can shop online for their tires too. Go to leestirecompany.com, put in your car's specs and see which tires can work best for you no matter the season. And every single month, they have ways to put money back in your pocket with several rebates for some brands of tires that you might be more interested in. So go head into Lee's Tire Company and see how you can save. They're on the Business Loop in Columbia, on University Garage, on the MU campus, or in Centralia, or go online to leestirecompany.com. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells at leestirecompany.com.
It's going to be a long, hot summer again. I wish I could wear shorts.
If this sounds like you, you're not alone. Hi, this is Dr. Michael Ryan with Missouri Vein Care. Vein treatments not only help your legs feel better, but also look better. Most people with visible veins are covered by insurance because it's also a circulation problem. No more excuses. Enjoy your summers again with shorts and sunshine. Schedule your free vein screening at MissouriVeinCare.com and get back to normal.
When you're looking for something to pee off, the higher, the better. It's the exact opposite with interest rates. And right now, they're up in the stratosphere. Too bad you can't pee off them. It's a terrible time to buy a new house, but the perfect time to remodel your deck with Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. High interest rates have you peed off. Kretsch's can get you your dream deck to pee off. Talk about a sweet streaming platform. Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside. Kretsch'sCustomExteriors.com.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Toronto's Dylan Cease is no-hitting the Giants. Blue Jays leading the Giants 7-0 in the top of the ninth inning. 3 teams stand above the rest when it comes to LeBron James' free agency decision. ESPN's Shams Charania reports they are the Cavaliers, Heat, and 76ers. The Eastern Conference certainly is a better situation for him, believes NBA.com senior writer Steve Ashburner.
Just because the West is so deep. So if he were to go to a Denver or Minnesota, is that going to put them over the top against San Antonio and Oklahoma City? I don't know. That's a heavier lift as I see it. Whereas in the East, my personal, and I guess it's a sentimental favorite, if he could go to Cleveland.
Steve Ashburner on the Rich Eisen Show. A decision from LeBron is not expected for a while. The NCAA sent a letter of inquiry to Cincinnati centered on former quarterback Brendan Sorsby's time with the program. Sorsby ruled permanently ineligible by the NCAA this spring after admitting to placing thousands of impermissible sports bets over the last 4 years. He spent 2 seasons with the Bearcats before transferring to Texas Tech.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Keep your career moving forward with growth opportunities, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces. Go to careers.progressive.com and apply today.
From Faro.
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush.
Back to the wall, and it's got her.
And Arrowhead.
Touchdown! Kansas City.
To your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
You know, Brendan's told this story before here. His initial impression of Framber Valdez. Like, he is the pitcher that he saw while covering a game in the minors and not being all that impressed. And then Framber Valdez goes and pitches really well and has a great career and is a high-dollar pitcher now. For me, that pitcher is Dylan Cease. Saw Dylan Cease early and didn't think much of him, and now he's the high-dollar pitcher for the Padres and now, or for the Blue Jays now, I guess, and now about to throw a no-hitter. So we'll see if that actually ends up happening. During our time here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. You can hear the full show through 6 o'clock on the KTGR app with Cardinals coverage coming on at 5:50. In the meantime, we'll talk more about Christian Pulisic and the hate that he's getting, which I think is, for now, is very much deserved. But are there any Mizzou parallels to this U.S. men's national team? Bill Connolly, when he joined us a couple weeks ago before the World Cup started, seemed to indicate that a little bit. We'll talk about that in a bit. And we'll play the game Who Wasn't at the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift wedding at 5:25. 875-KTGR if you want to call or text. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Yeah, the series against the Brewers for the Cardinals so far not going too well. They lost 4-3 Monday, and then they lose both legs of the doubleheader at Busch Stadium on Tuesday. 4-3 in game 1. The good news about game 2 is they didn't lose 4-3. The bad news is they lost 10-2, and they tried to navigate a pitching plan that didn't necessarily maximize winning the doubleheader, but also had a bigger picture in mind. They wanted to give extra rest to some of their starters. They wanted to honor the bullpen pitchers that have been heavily used recently. All in all, it certainly didn't go their way, but I think that day just sort of illustrates the gap right now between the Cardinals and Brewers in the NL Central.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
The Royals did have a 7-run 7th inning yesterday, and boy, did they score a bunch of runs in that win over the Mets. 16-12, not necessarily the type of score we anticipated early in the season for the Royals. Kind of thought they'd be a pitching duel type of team, but whatever. They've been putting up runs, and good for them. The Royals and Mets now have the same record, 38-54. Neither of those teams are going anywhere. But hey, shout out to Jack Caglianone for being named to the Home Run Derby. That's pretty cool.
Number 3.
There's Jordan for 3, yes!
What's not cool anymore is the U.S. men's national team. Yeah, it was cool there for a minute. We were all excited. They roped us in. They promised us a good time, and then they broke our hearts. And Christian Pulisic, although he wasn't the only offender in that loss to Belgium, he was arguably the biggest. I mean, his issue wasn't just like one dumb play like Matt Breeze. He was just bad all game. And I'm sure he's a nice guy. People are absolutely teeing off on him. But I feel like I pretty much agree with all the criticism. Am I just a rabid fan with this, or is it reasonable that Christian Pulisic is getting everything that he deserves right now?
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Andy Hill and Drew Lock, speaking of deserves, both named into Mizzou Athletics Hall of Fame. Cool way that Mizzou released that with those guys reading each other's introductions. Pretty cool. Hill, of course, a longtime member of Missouri's coaching staff, and Drew Lock played some pretty good QB for the Tigers back in the day. So both very deserving. You do kind of wonder, like, oh, how are these guys not already in? But they're in this time and well-deserved.
Number 5.
What did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap!
So a promotion that had made its way to Kauffman Stadium and now to Busch Stadium happened yesterday. I took a video of it. Have you guys seen the hot dog thing?
That's The Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
Yeah, I have. I saw it at Busch Stadium when I was there a couple weekends ago.
The hot dog
Yeah.
thing, I don't know how it didn't strike me until yesterday, and I took a video of it. It was blowing up. They start the hot dog. It's like a giant inflatable hot dog on one end. They put the bun on the other end, and the fans have to carry them and put the hot dog in the bun. It's just like, it's literally a perfect between innings promotion. I had Royals fans saying, "Oh, we've been doing this at Kauffman Stadium for a while." I'm like, I didn't know. But yeah, that's pretty neat. And I can't think of anything better. Like, it's
great.
Crowd participation, group effort, everybody coming together for a common goal.
Right.
It's hilarious to watch. Like, it checks every box.
Well, it's kind of like what Mizzou does. Like they've had like the columns race.
The
like
columns
you try
race,
to try to get the columns up to the top of the section, and whoever's section gets there first gets like T-shirts or something like that. They do it at Missouri Arena too, where they try to punch a big beach ball, like a giant one. Just one side of the arena is racing against the other side of the arena and try to beat them. But yeah, like the hot dog one, there's an extra element to it. You got to actually put the hot dog together. Right. And it's
perfect.
It's great.
The columns thing is cool. The beach ball. This is the pinnacle, in my opinion, of this style of game.
Right.
In an arena. Bravo. I think it's fantastic.
And then after you put the hot dog and the bun together, Joey Chestnut eats it.
It was a big hot dog. I know he's a hungry guy, but that was
put it down. Although this weekend he probably needed to make sure the stomach was clear and that he could be ready to go for that. Do we know how many he ate this time around?
This is the first year in recent memory that I didn't even see any of it. Normally I'm like scouting it out, and I kind of, it was a busy day. I assume he won, right? So
yeah, he did. He won his 18th title.
Okay.
66 hot dogs and buns.
I don't think they did as good of a job advertising it this year. I didn't know when to watch it. I turned on the app, tried to find it.
Wasn't it on Netflix?
Is that what it was? Well,
I think that's
the
what
problem.
it was. Yeah.
I didn't know. I literally turned on the ESPN app. I'm like, where's the hot dog thing? Okay, I guess moving on. Like, I had that much time to think about it, and so yeah, they didn't do a good enough job. Netflix under the bus. Like you could have been plastering that out there a little bit better, because I'm your target demographic. I love watching it every year, and I frankly gave up after quickly not being able to find it. So there you go.
Wow. They have a chance of redemption, I suppose. I suppose, with the Home Run Derby, which will be on Netflix next week.
Did not know that either. Okay.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I think I knew that. I think I knew that. I think I had been told.
Well, you knew that you can hear it on KTGR, but yeah, if you want to watch it, Netflix is the way to go this year. And there's a little trepidation about that because Netflix did not do well with their opening day stuff when they got a chance at that. That did not go well. I really hope Bert Kreischer is not involved this time. But whatever.
There's a chance that he would be, I suppose. They like putting him in stuff these days.
Yeah.
Hey, and he might take his shirt off too. That's usually usually his bit.
That's the content everybody is asking for, I suppose. 875 KTGR. Give us a call or a text with your favorite in-stadium promotions. Busch Stadium taking a little bit of what Kauffman Stadium's done with the hot dog, putting together the inflatables, coming from one side of the stadium to the other, and then coming together near home plate, putting together, you got a hot dog, and you've killed 2 minutes to get yourself to the next half inning. It's great stuff.
It's really good.
Anyway, what has not been great stuff is the U.S. men's national team lately.
Not good.
Yeah, that was not good on Monday night. And yes, Christian Pulisic deserves everything that's coming to him right now. I think in a sense, it absolutely a lot of blame should be put on him, because I know he's just one of 11, but he is the best of the 11, presumably supposed to be the leader of the group. And all of these former players who, look, I would say that every single former U.S. men's national team player, including like the big ones, Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey, Tim Howard, like a lot of these guys that you have heard say these things about him. Like, this guy has more talent than all of them. Like, he does. I think that is indisputable. And he has had an excellent career even to this point. I think more so at the club level. Like, he's won a Champions League with Chelsea and, like, arguably was the best player for that team when they were making that run, and is, I think, deservedly earned a lot of money overseas playing this sport. But when it comes to this competition, and you don't take it seriously enough to the point where you're not playing in every competitive match that this team has when they have a new coach and they're trying to establish the culture and get ready for the biggest tournament in all of our lives to this point, and you have to miss a match and a half, and then in the match that basically defines success or failure for this group, you ask out of it. Like Landon Donovan saying, like, you would have to drag me off the bleeping field to like shoot me up with whatever you need to shoot me up with, like, and put me back out there, because this is the game that we need to win. And Christian Pulisic did not do those things.
Yeah, I guess you could have just waited for a hydration break and then been able to be a little bit more of a full version of yourself. I don't know.
But even then, like, that's hurting the group, because.
Well, what I'm asking is, you said shoot him up. Like, when do you actually do that?
Right. You would have to.
The game doesn't stop.
Right.
You know?
You would have to play a man down anyway to get him whatever treatment he would need so that he can stay in the game. But again, like, that is still, if it was a pain tolerance thing.
Right.
Like,
that's what I don't know. If he could have run around or been effective.
Right.
You
like,
know.
if it's a rolled ankle, like, okay, go and look at that. Make sure there's, like, you can't x-ray it, but you can at least have a test on the field, and the trainer can at least have an initial look at it and have a recommendation of, like, yeah, it might hurt a little bit, but you can, but he didn't even get checked out. That's the thing. Like, at least go down.
Can they do that?
Yeah,
like, they
sure.
go down, and then the trainer comes out, and they take a little bit of a time.
The referee does have to stop play, and they don't all the time. A lot of the time, what's happened across soccer a lot is that, you know, a team, if they have the ball and maybe their own player gets hurt, then they'll just play the ball out. And then once play resumes, the other team will have the throw in, but they'll just give it back to the other team. And it's a gentleman's agreement of, like, okay, you had the ball, you're going to get it back because your player was down. But like a team that does not have a player injured does have the right to keep playing, even though a player is down for the other team. But the official also has the ability to stop play for any injury if they deem it necessary. They almost have to do it now for head injuries, because you got to get those checked out.
Sure.
But like, Christian Pulisic could just go down instead of trying to limp around. Go down and at least give the official a reason to stop the play. And whether he does or not is left up to him, but at least you're giving that chance to get looked at and for a trainer to come out onto the field. No, Christian Pulisic instead said, "Oh, I'm hurt. Look to the side. Like, can you get me? Can you sub me out?"
Yeah, he was kind of yelling over there, like he was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That to me is like, okay, so you're not even going to have somebody check you out to see if anything is out of place or broken or anything like that. You're just going to sub out yourself and say, "Oh, it's too painful. I can't go." Because anybody else that wanted to play in that match, I'm sure, would have said, "Hey, check me out. Anything, if I keep playing, am I damaging anything further? No? Okay, cool. I'm back out there." Like, again, we're about to make the Mizzou parallel. Brady Cook went to the hospital, Brendan. Like,
yeah, that's
he
where
went
there
to the
is
hospital.
Absolutely no parallel to be had between Brady Cook and Christian Pulisic.
Come on.
They're like the antithesis.
Polar opposites. Tell you what.
We're talking about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a great point to be made. Like, we joked about the Mizzou thing because it's like not even specific to Mizzou football or like Eli Drinkwitz's teams, just like the general Mizzou fandom over the course of time and even before my lifetime, before your lifetime. like you get built up to get let down. Like that is kind of that has kind of been the historic way of a Mizzou fan's experience. And we kind of say it tongue in cheek in jest. We can joke about some of the things that happened 30 something years ago now. We don't really like to bring them up, but like it, it is what it is. And so that's why when I feel like with Bill Connolly, we were kind of like, oh man, there's the parallel. We're going to compare U.S. men's national team to a football team of Mizzou. And it's like, that was more specific to this current era team where it's like, hey, there's a chance that they could like really do some things here, but also like there's a lot of ways to potentially get let down if you get your hopes too high. Like that felt maybe pretty apt. But that Brady Cook comment is a great one, because if we're getting into the weeds on this thing, I can't think of an athlete more different from the Christian Pulisic mentality than Brady Cook. And I say that in as complimentary of a way as you can, because I lose respect for Christian Pulisic. Like,
yeah,
again, when you have this big image rehabilitation tour leading up to this World Cup, because of the documentary that comes out, and I don't know if it was an Apple TV or like, I don't even know what it was, but I saw
one of those.
I saw the commercials for this thing ad nauseum of people like, oh, you're going to get to know the real Christian Pulisic and like and people, you talk about the Gold Cup from what was that last year, like you go through all this trouble to be like, here's the guy that like, here's how much it means to me and here's who I really am, and then to have the exact same sort of ending. And you made the comment about that game against Belgium as like the game that would define how we thought of this U.S. men's national team. To me, and I don't even know off the top of my head how old Christian Pulisic is.
27.
But for better or worse, and it ends up being worse, that's probably the game that defines his career in the eyes of U.S. soccer fans. He can keep playing and talk about, I know he released a little statement. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even read it. I didn't want to hear it.
Oh, I didn't even know he did.
He released a thing on, I think, Instagram, unless I'm getting Biff buffers. I saw like in scrolling, in the doom scrolling process, I saw that it was reported that he released something. I didn't even stop to read to see if it was real or fake or whatever. This has come out that tough to find the words. I want to start by saying thank you to everyone who believed. The support carried us through. Simply wasn't good enough. Deliver. I want to deliver so much more. Still feel blessed. The memories will last a lifetime. It's just the start for us and for the sport in America.
Gosh.
It's not just the start. It's not. This was the pinnacle and you blew it. Let's be honest. You're 31 years old in 4 years, whether you're on the team or not. Like, this was not just the start. This isn't some sappy thanks for the memes. Like, this sucks, and you blew it, to be abundantly clear. And you blew it for the sport in America because of the building that could have happened if you really care about soccer. There's no way to put lipstick on that pig and say that, no, it's actually fine, and here's the way that this whole experience still builds up soccer culture in America. No, it does not. It sets it back, and I'm part of the reason why, because I'm not that invested. I would have been more to watch a historic U.S. men's national team run, but now I'm like, I got enough stuff that's going to let me down as a sports fan. I don't need to add this to where, like, I'm actually upset. I was irritated, but it's like more so for other people. More so because I was a bozo and let my kid watch it and made sure he was invested in it and he was wearing a U.S. soccer shirt.
Right.
And now I feel like the jackass because they completely embarrassed themselves in the biggest game.
Yeah, that's the thing. Which, I mean, that's maybe where the Mizzou parallels come in of like, okay, you build up some goodwill, you win some games that draw in some excitement and everything, and then you go to Texas A&M, right? Like that's
I was gonna ask.
That's it.
I was gonna ask.
It.
You know what?
Right there.
If I hadn't been covering a Cardinal game during this soccer game, if I had like built up and had a watch party and like been really been geared up, that might have felt the same. But you know what? That road game at A&M, that might be a really good comp because that game I did travel for. I was in the Mizzou cheering section for that game. And it couldn't have been more like defining in terms of like, you're not going to be even remotely competitive in this game, and you are going to hate every moment of it. And there will be moments that just make you want to pull your hair out, and there will be no sunshine and roses at the end. You will not feel good about anything that happens. At least we got Malik Tillman on Monday.
Right. Yeah.
But other than that, Andy, I think, again, you've come up with a spot-on comp because I was wondering, like, recent Mizzou history, what's the comparison? Alabama game, that's not fair. They played pretty darn well.
They did play well
at
in that
Field
game.
last year.
Yeah.
Texas A&M game at home last year, by then it wasn't really quite the same hopes for the season, so it's not like it's whatever. Even thinking like last year's Vanderbilt game that I was at, like that extenuating circumstances, although I get like Bo Prabula probably would have loved to have played, but they had him in an air cast.
Yeah,
so
like he could not play. Like they checked him out, and he could not play. Like
he could not play.
Yeah, so you had to do that.
Wanted to do what he could do for his team.
And again,
I still like Bo, but that's not the same. It's that A&M road game from 2 years ago.
Right.
That's the one.
And again, soccer's different. You can't go into the locker room and get x-rayed.
Right.
Like, and check to see if anything's broken. You essentially have to check and see how hurt you are on the sideline. And all the while you're doing that, your team is playing a man down. So you got to hurry up the process as much as possible for that. So like if Pulisic was actually hurt and actually had a tear in his ankle or whatever it is, then okay. But
then they better start reporting that yesterday.
Yeah. And
like for his sake.
And Christian Pulisic after the game shouldn't
Put
say
it out
something
there.
like, now I can rest. Like that.
Let's talk about this clip.
That's
because this
so
is something
bad,
that,
man.
okay, so it's bad optics. But the question, like this is, it. You know what it reminds me of? This one reminds me a little bit of when we see Scotty Scheffler in like one of those quotes gets taken out of context where we jump all over him. I think without all the other Pulisic stuff, people wouldn't hate this one as much. But he was specifically asked, like, how's the ankle? Like, how you holding up with that specific aspect of your injury? And it was like a 10-second answer. And at the end said, now I'll have time to rest, so it'll be fine. Like, I'll be fine. It's basically what he was saying. But it didn't. Optics are really bad when you have that reputation as being soft.
Had a whole summer to rest last summer. Goodness.
Yeah, you can't probably, like, you are in, again, the context was they were asking specifically, like, how is the ankle? Not that anybody cares at this point, but like, how's the ankle is the question. And he's like, well, the reason it's fine is now I've got plenty of time to rest. Like, it's like the basketball player that's like, well, I'm going to Cancun anyway, so
right,
whatever.
Yeah.
Like, maybe don't steer into that from an optics perspective. Just try to avoid putting your foot in your mouth, even though the question kind of set you up for that. It's a valid question to ask because it's like, hey, this is the reason you're not in there. We'd like to know, what's the ankle looking like? I think there's 100 different ways to answer that are probably better than, well, now the reason it's going to be okay is because I'll have some time to rest. I can rest up.
Right. Yeah.
For what?
And it tells me
4 years to rest because, frankly, all the other stuff you've ever done for the U.S. team doesn't matter. It's a drop in the bucket.
Right.
And it's great that you can win championships over in Europe, but none of the U.S. soccer fans care about that either. So from our standpoint, all you've ever done is rest and then not show up when the games matter. Ever.
Yeah. Look, the thing is, like, Mauricio Pochettino, they offered him the extension reportedly, and like there's time, I guess, that he'll have to decide upon that. I really couldn't care either way, but I would maybe lean towards, okay, give him a chance with a full World Cup cycle.
I've seen people putting out their columns on,
like,
it would be unacceptable to bring him back.
Yeah, I don't know if unacceptable is the right word. Like, if you decide not to, like, that'd be but like, again, I think it's out of the United States court right now. Like, it's all on Pochettino, whether he wants
they want
to.
him.
Right.
They want him back. Do you think they still want him back as fervently as they did before the Belgium game, though? I know they put the contract in his hand.
Sure. But that definitely hurt. Like, I'm not going to say it was a great game from him, but I see a lot of the mistakes that happened on the field and say, like, that's like Pochettino didn't have three guys like looking at each other. Like, are you going to clear the ball? Are you going to clear it? Like that.
But is it the job of the coach to like have the defense ready to be sharp?
No
like,
question.
Play style.
Yeah.
I think there's an argument to be made for that. When was it? Here's one that I'll throw out there. When was it last Mizzou football season when a lot of the Drinkwitz stuff was ramping up? And then was there what was the disappointing loss that had some people going,
glad we gave that extension, right? Yeah.
Probably Oklahoma, that game where I mean that he did not coach well in that game, in my opinion. But my stance in that moment, I think that I was really pissed about the Oklahoma game this last year. Even 2 years ago, they.
Oh yeah, at one point you were.
Famously wasn't
years
thrilled
ago.
with that game either.
Plural,
but
it
ended up being okay. Yeah. But last year's loss at Oklahoma really chapped my khakis. I think that's very comparable to this situation with the U.S. soccer coach, because I remember the way you talked about the Berhalter guy, and in the situation of thinking Drinkwitz might have other opportunities, I was bumming because I'm like, I don't know that we're going to be able to swoop in and get somebody, forget better, anything close to what we have, the confidence I feel in Drink heading up the program.
Right.
Is that similar to the Pochettino? what's his name?
Pochettino. Yeah.
Pochettino. Is it similar in that, okay, this was massively disappointing, but overall, we feel like things are heading in a fair direction to where are you really going to say you take your chances with the field compared to knowing the coach that you currently have?
Right.
I don't know enough soccer to know if it's comparable, but it feels comparable in the way we talk about the two things.
The main thing is that Pochettino has seen it be successful before from the background that he has. He's from Argentina. He has gone and coached in Europe and had good stints with Tottenham and PSG and everything like that. And the true soccer fans over there will have mixed feelings about it, because they always have mixed feelings even about the best coaches over there. But anyway, the outside perspective is important here, because there's also been a lot of talk over the last couple of days of the U.S. soccer development system is broken. The way that the pay for play, youth
Alexi
development,
Wallace likes it. He likes
everything.
it. He thinks it's good.
Boy, oh boy, Alexi Wallace.
Are you
All
a
right.
fan? Not a fan?
Anyway, it works in other countries. It doesn't work here. We've got the talent, we've got the resources, but it's almost flipped the wrong direction as to how it should work for kids. And so that's a whole long conversation that we won't litigate here. But the fact of the matter is, Pochettino has seen it happen other places before and knows what it takes to develop a program that is successful there. And so, I don't think he can tear down this entire culture that the United States has of how we develop our talent, but he can at least work with the players that he can get in contact with and show them what is necessary to advance in these situations, or to compete with these other nations, these other players that grow up in other cultures and have a very different viewpoint and approach to it. So he can at least break through a little bit more and make that happen, which is why, go ahead and give him a full World Cup cycle, when this last time he had only a couple of years and couldn't work his team through qualifiers, all he could do was use the Gold Cup, and he didn't even have his best player for it, presumably.
Well, he was resting.
That's important, and
at least
that
he
way
gets to rest now.
So
I was worried that Pulisic didn't have enough time to do that.
Yeah.
Now he gets to, and I just feel
that's good.
I feel warm and fuzzies about it for Christian. Enjoy
the Bahamas, buddy. 875-KTGR. Give us a call or a text. Your thoughts on the U.S. men's national team. Up next.
By the way,
yeah,
I now know that if I ever need to get you for whatever reason to break FCC code, I will just bring up
this
Alexi
topic
Lawless.
right here.
I'll bring up Alexi Lawless specifically and make you talk about him, because that seemed like a can of worms.
It is very hilarious, though, how much of a friendship Thierry Henry and Zlatan Ibrahimovic have developed based solely upon the fact of how much they hate Alexi Lawless.
But they work with the guy, right?
Have worked with him on this World Cup broadcast. And it is hilarious to me how much they have become so buddy-buddy with each other, with the shared commonality of, we hate working with this other guy. Just so much. That's how it's at least perceived. But it's been at least good content. Other than
All right.
all that.
All right. So I know you wanted to talk about what you want to talk about next?
Well, less so talk about and make you compete against producer Natalie.
Can we push that? Because we have relevant news about Mizzou basketball.
Okay.
It appears there is another notable non-conference game.
Okay.
That is being reported
right.
reliably, but it's not a home game, and apparently no return trip is planned.
My goodness. Okay. Yes, we will. We will have we'll have the game at 5:45. We will discuss.
Let's do this next.
This Mizzou basketball news, more scheduling news, and very, very interesting here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app.
Miss the latest edition of The Big Show? Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now, wherever you get your apps.
St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Over the years, it has meant the Gas House Gang, Stan the Man, Lou Brock, Bob Gibson, the Wizard, Big Mac, Yachty, Waino, and Pujols. All those names, and they provided so many memories. St. Louis Cardinals baseball, most importantly, has meant championship baseball. We'll be describing every play right here on the Cardinals Radio Network, powered by Gray Bar.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
Summer heat can put extra stress on your irrigation system. And if your controller settings aren't adjusted properly, you can end up with an unhealthy lawn. That's why now is the perfect time for a professional system check from Lubring Irrigation Services. From adjusting controllers for summer conditions to sprinkler alignment, Lubring helps keep your system running at its best. No shortcuts, no guesswork, just quality work that lasts. Call the pros who do it every day at LubringIrrigation.com.
Severe weather doesn't need an invitation. One strong storm, heavy rain, or gust of wind will turn a weak tree into a very big problem. No. That's why now is the time to call Advanced Tree Solutions. They identify hazardous trees and limbs before they even have a chance to damage your home, vehicles, or property. Seriously, don't wait for Mother Nature to make the decision for you, because it will. Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
What happens when a Cards fan, a Royals fan, and a College World Series super fan walk into a bar? They argue for about 3 minutes. Then they clink beers and order some fantastically delicious burgers and hot hand-cut fries. Billiards on Broadway has all the games on. So no matter the team, Billiards is the best spot for baseball all summer. A couple more super fans just walked into Billiards. What happens next is up to you.
Look on down for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway.
Call your shot at billiardsonbroadway.com.
My name is Cornell Dillard. For many years, I was stubborn from getting a hearing aid because of the stereotype. I went to hearing aid consultant because they're not trying to move a product. They want to work with you to make sure that you can benefit from their services. And I must say I was not disappointed. And I regretted all the years I let my pride interfere with my ability to hear what I'm hearing today.
Hearing Aid Consultants in Allmaker Repair Lab. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. Online at hearingaidconsultants.com.
Window panes. You see a squirrel run across the yard. You grab the gun, head outside, take aim, and miss. Turns out a window is a lot easier to hit than a squirrel. This is Silas Kuntz from Kuntz Glass. We can fix your broken windows, patio doors, or foggy glass, but we can't fix your bad aim. As Columbia's oldest and wisest glass shop, Kuntz Glass is ready for life's little window panes. Visit us at kuntzglass.com.
Kuntz Glass, you can see through it, we do it.
2 strikes in the at-bat here. Brady's got a brand new bat and cleats this season. He swings and rips the ball down the line for a double. That's a nice one by Brady. Next up is Tyler, rocking gently used gear from Play It Again Sports. Whoa, he got a hold of that one, and his teammate's going to come around to score. Funny thing about youth sports, the scoreboard never asks how much you paid for the equipment, whether your athlete needs something brand new or just new to them. Visit Play It Again Sports. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play It Again Sports, ColumbiaMo.com.
What I love the most about Zimmer Communications is that I'm always busy learning.
We all want to see each other succeed. I think that's a huge part of working here and huge benefit of working here. There are a lot of jobs in the marketing field, and this is really a place where you can start your career. So many helpful people around you to help you be successful was really awesome for me.
Something that I never thought that I would do before.
If you're thinking about starting a new career, I really suggest looking at Zimmer Communications.
Sales positions are open now. Apply today at ZimmerCommunications.com.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
Okay. So John Rothstein, CBS Sports college basketball insider, 22 minutes ago. News. Indiana and Missouri are finalizing an agreement to meet on December 18th in Bloomington, according to multiple sources. There will be no return game to Columbia as part of the agreement. Boy, oh boy. Brendan.
Yeah.
This is a gauntlet of a December. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Which I'm good with, and I'll give Dennis Gates credit for scheduling out, because that's kind of what we asked him to do, right?
Yeah.
We were like, we're tired of these non-con schedules. You saw what Auburn did last year, and I get it. They didn't make the tournament. Their record was so bad, though. Like, they didn't have a great conference season. But, like, there are other examples of challenging yourself, probably improving because of it, your skills, your ability to thrive in those environments, and not getting punished for those losses too much in the non-con because it's a quality schedule. Like, the committee will respect that as long as you are capable in conference play. So I'm good with the challenge of the schedule. How is it that Dennis Gates can't get some of these games at Mizzou Arena that are high-profile games? How is that the case?
I don't know,
because we've seen every which way of these to be done, and I'm taking everything Rothstein put out at face value. I don't think anybody else has echoed this report yet. But the notion of no return game, even down the road, just strikes me as like, well, we tried to work out some things, and we're coming up to. It's like the night before the book report is due, and you're like, I gotta have something, and so let's get it out there. And again, I think back to like when you're opening the season at Howard and you're trying to figure out your non-con schedule that way. It was a cookie cutter non-con last year where literally you played rivalry games that are pre-existing on your schedule, an ACC challenge that's given to you. You're told that you're playing in this. You played a handful of HBCUs, one of which on the road, and you played against teams that Gates had either coached at or knew the coach of from previous stops.
Right.
And that was your schedule. Is it a skill issue at this point to figure out ways to get a compelling schedule? And so he's leveled up. I think it's a much better schedule this year, and I really do like the schedule. I'm looking forward to it. I do feel for Mizzou fans that would say, it'd be cool to be able to figure out a way to get this at our place. Now, is that a Gates thing? Is that an administration thing where Gates told us last year, part of the reason for going to Howard, financial. Like they're trying to, you got these bye games on the schedule and you're trying to figure out a way to get it all to fit within the budget. And we know that the budget is a real thing.
Yep.
You got a player budget now, and they certainly beefed that up with the guys they went out and got. The roster is something I'm real excited about. But did you get to the end of the rope and you're like, well, we don't want to pay somebody else to come to us. Doesn't give us a ratings boost. We could go somewhere and challenge ourselves, and that's going to be a quad one game. Like, you're going to go to Indiana, and it's got to be top 75? What's their number that they'd have to be to
it
be
would
a
be
quad
top
one
75,
game?
yeah.
For a quad one game?
I think this
they'll
is
be top 75.
This is safely a quad one game.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it doesn't cost you anything in terms of like March Madness committee, whatever. You're not going to get punished even if you lose it. But for your fans, how do you not find that with an opponent that you can get to come to your place? What? Are teams that afraid to schedule, but that we have to fall into the trap of, all right, we came into this negotiation and we showed our cards too early. We made it clear that We'll just kind of do whatever you want, which is what the accusation was from some about the SLU series, which Brendan loved because I said, no, play SLU. Like, who cares? You don't have to out-leverage SLU. Just play the game. It's good for the region. This one I don't feel the same about because it's not I get it, Indianapolis, Indiana, Bloomington. That's like kind of close. But this is not – there's no history here that would suggest – you should be willing to go to their place without, hey, you're going to come back at some point, right? Like,
would you feel
out with
so essentially?
schedule.
Would you feel better about this if they were playing this in, say, St. Louis?
Yes, I guess. I don't know about better. Or even like, I don't know, even like if there's like something in Indianapolis or like you just did another non-con neutral site because that's kind of the flavor of the month.
Sure.
But like to say we're going to go there and I think it makes you look a little weak that your administration couldn't figure out a way to get something with, like, it didn't have to be Indiana, right? You're floating around. There's probably other irons in the fire. And what they settle on is we're going to go to Indiana and it's okay that we don't come back. This is per John Rothstein. I haven't seen it elsewhere, but he's very prominent in the business of knowing these things. So we're talking about it. That's my thing is I would rather do a home and home with a mid-major, honestly, and give Mizzou fans something like the Wichita State thing. Give us something to give us a reason to buy tickets at home because we keep being told that, hey, ticket prices have to go up. And, you know, this is the era that we're in. That makes the administration, in my opinion, look weak to not be able to get a game like that or at least be told, hey, down the road, Indiana's going to return this favor. Now, if Rothstein got that wrong, everything I'm saying is wrong.
Right.
But so let's wait for further info to come out. But it's disappointing if that's what it is because people have been saying, hey, this is kind of the last frontier is get us a team at home that we can be excited about that isn't, you know, bestowed upon us by the ACC that you have to play these guys. Like, that's the one for me that I think would be more meaningful. And I don't mind playing anybody on the road. I don't mind that because I understand how college hoops works and it doesn't hurt you and it'll be good experience. But I feel for fans that are like, they really want me to buy the season tickets, but they didn't really give us much in the non-con. And they're maybe the issues are that deep from like a financial standpoint that like, hey guys, we're really trying to focus our money on other areas, but it's a different revenue pile, isn't it? To pay the players. It's not coming from that budget. So that's the part that I'm not so sure. I know there's more at play than I understand. And I'll wait for the people who report this stuff locally to know the ins and outs, to be able to give maybe some context. But that's my initial reaction. Is like, that's disappointing. Like, why can't we get any of these type of teams to come here? And it just looks on the surface like kind of a weak spot, a blind spot for Dennis Gates or this administration if they haven't been able to nail some of these down.
Here's the month of December so far. They get Pittsburgh at home in the ACC Challenge. It's that Tuesday, December 1st. And then that Sunday, the 6th, they play Kansas in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Then it's another game in Kansas City. The following Saturday, the 12th, they play Nebraska. Then you've got, now, I suppose your next game will be this game at Indiana.
Like a week later.
Like less than a week later. And then I would assume less than a week later, you're in St. Louis playing bragging rights. Because that's usually done before Christmas.
23rd or whatever.
Yeah. So like in 4 or 5 days after that, you've got
good. That'll be great for the fans.
Yeah.
That will be great for the fans that listen on KTGR and watch on TV. I don't know that it's as good for the fans of
here
that live in mid-Missouri or close enough that they buy season tickets. And like if there's room on the schedule for another one and they get a home game because they bump a different one from the schedule and get something better, then fine. Maybe that's still floating out there, but I don't know. Like, it seems like everything they've announced, I've been able to go, yep, I don't think they had to really like work too hard to do that. I don't think they had to work too hard to convince Indiana, yeah, we'll come to you and let's play. No. I imagine they tried to get a home and home, couldn't do it and settled. With SLU, I imagine they tried to get him to come to Mizzou Arena for one of those games. They couldn't do it and settled. That's If I'm wrong, someone can correct me. Who knows better? But I think that's the optics of the situation when we talk about non-con scheduling right now.
Call or text us your reaction to Mizzou basketball playing at Indiana December 18th. That's the report according to Rothstein, but also the report is that there will be no return game in a future year as part of this agreement. Again, that's the initial report. We'll see if anything else comes out about it. Give us your reaction to it, 573-875-KTGR. Who wasn't at the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift wedding this weekend? The game that's sweeping the nation next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good evening. I'm Natalie Touche, and this live local sports center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells at leestirecompany.com. St. Louis Cardinals were swept in their Tuesday doubleheader following their 10-2 loss. Cardinals gave up a combined 10 earned runs while the offense was held to 4 hits. They continue the series tonight at 6:45 on KTGR Radio. Another win for the Kansas City Royals against the New York Mets yesterday. KC's Tyler Tolbert tied the MLB record with hits in 12 straight plate appearances. Royals aim to grab the series tonight at 6:10 p.m. 2 Mizzou football alumni, Drew Lock and Andy Hill, were also announced as inductees for Mizzou's Athletic Hall of Fame. Drew Lock had 12,000 passing yards and a record 44 touchdowns. Andy Hill spent 24 seasons on Missouri's coaching staff after playing for the Tigers from 1980 to 84. Mizzou men's basketball added non-con opponent Indiana for December 18th, reported by CBS Sports' John Rothstein this evening. As a part of the agreement, there will be no return game to Columbia. Multiple sources told College Hoops today. Up next, your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is brought to you by Billiards on Broadway, the home to fresh hand-patted burgers, fresh-cut fries, and a long list of Missouri beers on tap. Don't forget the pool tables and huge TVs. Get to Billiards on Broadway in downtown Columbia.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking a mild evening with clear skies as we drop down to about 70 degrees. Tomorrow's an ABC 17 Storm Track weather alert day as we could see a few showers in the morning, but strong storms will be possible by late afternoon, bringing the threat of strong to damaging wind gusts up to around 60 miles per hour. High temperatures tomorrow on 90 degrees, the heat index getting into the upper 90s. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
The Rich Eisen Show.
TJ, Brockman, there was a big trade, the Celtics, the 76ers. How are we feeling about this, guys?
I feel great.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like Chris is sad and TJ is happy. Man, it's terrible. I can't, it's awful. It's the end of the era for the Jays, and I am very, very sad. And all I can say is, TJ, treat them right.
Catch The Rich Eisen Show weekdays from 11 to 2 on KTGR and the KTGR app.
The best barbecues start with the best grills. And at the American Outdoor Brands Factory Outlet in Columbia, you'll find Gorilla pellet, gas, and charcoal grills, along with outdoor kitchen options that'll make your patio everyone's favorite hangout on game day. Right now, all grills are 20% off in store, plus their scratch and dent section offers hundreds of dollars off select grills. Remember, every barbecue starts with a better grill. The American Outdoor Brands Factory Outlet is a quarter mile north of I-70 at Route C.
Hi, this is Joanne. We've had our homeowner's insurance with Phyllis Nichols since she became a State Farm agent in 1996. After a storm came through, she turned the claim in on our behalf. When there was a hiccup with the claim process, she or the team were available to get the process running smoothly again. They updated the homeowner's policy with the new roof date and ensured the qualified shingle discount was added. Phyllis and her team remembered to ask about life events that we don't remember to tell them.
When you have a property to redevelop or a big renovation that's coming up, you're going to need more than muscle and a couple of choice words. You'll need Wreck and Roll. They bring the dumpsters, the demo crew, and even clean up all the mess. Whatever you need, they roll in, wreck it right, and leave your site good as new. Proudly serving Jefferson City, Columbia, the Lake, and Eldon. When you have a hot mess, don't stress. To get your project rolling, follow Wreck and Roll on Facebook or go to wreckandroll.net.
It was 9 a.m. on a Monday when the phone rang. Brian Ware Plumbing and Restoration answered the call. It was a homeowner with a sewer line issue and a backyard he adored. But Brian's team does non-invasive sewer repair using state-of-the-art tech, including UV light curing resin. Suddenly, it's not a plumbing job. It's CSI Boone County. Sunglasses and David Caruso not included. Better call Brian and unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
Imagine a marketing tool for your business that will keep your current customers coming back while adding new ones in the process. It can happen when you offer gift certificates on shopmidmo.com. You'll build your customer base, keep top of mind, help people save money, and they'll love you for it. Shopmidmo.com is the perfect place for restaurants, retail, and entertainment experiences to build their foundation. Join the family of businesses having success making new customers and keeping their current ones happy. Contact us now at shopmidmo.com.
Shopmidmo.com. Life is loud, chaotic, hilarious, and occasionally peaceful. Your life fits you, so why settle for life insurance that fits someone else? At Shelter Insurance, our local agents help you design a personal protection plan backed by award-winning customer service. We're your shield. We're your shelter. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call me, Valerie Nenechuk, 573-615-4090, 615-4090.
From the trainers to the coaches, the equipment managers to the players and fans, it takes a whole team to be truly successful. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you're looking for the best team of jewelers in Columbia, it's Betts. Their staff has years of experience handcrafting jewelry, and when you combine that with the newest technology, it gives Betts Jewelers the ability to truly wow their customers. So talk to the team at your hometown jeweler today. Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
Tired of calling Andy and Brendan? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
Here we go, the game that is sweeping the nation. It is who wasn't at the Kelce Swift wedding this weekend? We were not, but the game here that Brendan and producer Natalie will be playing is,
okay,
I will give you 4 names. We'll see how many rounds we get to. Maybe that I've got 5 prepared. We'll see how many we get to.
I'm convinced Brendan wanted to push this back because he didn't.
Well, or maybe he just wanted to.
I don't know what I'm getting into. Yeah.
Maybe he just wanted to make sure there weren't as many rounds. 4 names. 3 people attended the wedding. 1 didn't. You have to tell me the person that didn't.
Are we teaming up for this?
You are competing simultaneously.
Okay. Got it.
So is it a who says it first?
No. Like you both get to give a guess. You can give the same guess if you want, but you're trying to get it right.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. All right. First up, here are these 4 names: Steven Spielberg, Robert Downey Jr., Reese Witherspoon, Emma Stone.
And one of them didn't attend.
One of them did not attend the wedding.
Reese Witherspoon, Emma Stone.
I'll take guesses at any
I'll take
time.
Emma Stone.
You're saying Emma Stone.
Natalie says no to Emma Stone. Emma's got it. Emma would have been there, right?
I feel like we would have seen pictures. And from the pictures that I've seen, I haven't seen her.
Okay.
But I also didn't see
You been looking at
Robert Downey
pictures
Jr.
from this wedding? This is crap. I didn't look at the pictures. Oh, Robert Downey's probably there too. Oh man, there's a lot of famous people in this. Reese Witherspoon, call it a hunch.
For both of you,
Don't say it was Robert Downey.
it was Robert Downey Jr. who was not at the wedding.
Wasn't there?
No.
Why
No.
was I so convinced that he was? I didn't even consider picking him.
Yeah. All right, next one. Michael Strahan, Cooper Kupp, Tom Brady, J.J. Watt.
Oh, if Cooper Kupp was at this wedding, what a life story for the lad. Watt was there. He's big in media now. He's on Twitter. I bet Watt was there. Brady was probably there.
See, I feel like
Maybe it's Brady.
I'm going to say Brady.
I'm going to say Brady, hoping that I am right, because if Cooper Kupp was there, good for Cooper Kupp. I'm going to say Brady.
You're both saying Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
J.J. Watt was not there.
Okay. Good for
That was
you,
my
Coop.
second choice.
Good for you, Coop.
yeah,
Again,
Coop.
I was never looking in his direction.
All right, neither of you are on the board yet. Let's see if
All right,
they
give
squeeze a
us
couple
going.
rounds in before the end of the show. Kenny Chesney, Miranda Lambert, Brad Paisley, and Fergie.
Okay, again, the direction I'm not looking is Brad Paisley. I don't know why. I'm convinced he was there.
Who was the first one?
Was
Kenny Chesney.
It's Chesney or Miranda.
I'm going Kenny Chesney. There's no,
Me
I just
too.
don't get the
Me
vibe
too.
that
I
they
don't-
even know each other.
Oh, but she's Nashville.
But Miranda
They probably
Lambert,
do
like
know
Miranda
each
Lambert
other.
was definitely there.
Yeah, give me Kenny Chesney. I don't feel great about it, though.
Both going Kenny Chesney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. Hey, both got there. All right. Well, now we'll see the final rounds because that's all the time we have left for here. And if either of you get the different answers and see if you can win this thing. All right, here we go. Tom Hanks, Jennifer Lopez, John Hamm, Elizabeth Banks.
Tom Hanks is in Toy Story 5. She did a song for the movie. He had to have been there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who are the other three?
Jennifer Lopez, John Hamm, Elizabeth Banks.
John Hamm.
Okay, we have Natalie's guess.
Yeah, I think
Elizabeth Banks, not a big enough name to even put on the list, in my opinion, if she hadn't been. So it's between John Hamm and who was the other lady?
Jennifer Lopez.
J-Lo. Oh. Give me J-Lo.
You're saying Jennifer Lopez is your answer, who was
there.
not
Yeah,
at the
that's
wedding.
not a good... that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, give me J-Lo.
Producer Natalie is the winner of Who Was Not at the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce wedding.
Let's go. This is my first producer game win. So
John
Hamm was not there. Wow. At the buzzer. Producer Natalie, well done.
Thank you.
Brendan, well, you tried.
Dang it.
Gave it a valiant effort. But that was fun. Hey, we might play it again tomorrow.
You could play this game. There's like 1,000 people there.
We could probably play it for a
that
while
game
if
for
we
the
wanted
next few
to. Thanks for joining us today. We're back at 4 o'clock tomorrow. Turn your radio on to hear the Cardinals underway against the Brewers. He's Brendan. She's producer Natalie. I'm Andy. We're done for now.
You thought. That's an A.